6 p.m. It's time to start the board meeting. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Has everybody had a chance to read the agenda? And I don't know of any changes.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the agenda passes. Now, item number 3, Superintendent's Report.
Thank you, Vice President Wiehlander, other board directors, student representatives, community members. We have a lot of students here in the crowd, as well as staff. Well, good evening. I would first like to start off with my comments to talk about hiring. I know it might not be on everybody's mind, but when you are running a school district, we are a people organization. Who we hire makes a huge difference. In fact, so much that one of our 4 priority areas in our strategic plan is around effective teachers and leaders. And so we've been working really hard last year and in this year of really redoing a lot of our processes to hire earlier, right? So that means we have to do our enrollment projections earlier. That means we have to do our budgeting process earlier so that we know how much staff we can afford, what positions are going to be empty, how many students are going to be there. So that's obviously predicated on our ability to pay for where the students show up, how many classrooms we need obviously across the district, pre-K all the way through 12th. So we have already hired well over 30 teachers this year already. Typically we hire a lot of folks during the summer, in particularly August, which makes it very difficult for us in helping to orient them, prepare them. Getting hired and getting your classroom ready is a really key thing. I know even for our students out in the crowd, you want to walk into a classroom that seems well organized, safe and welcoming. They're ready for you, especially when you're younger, your name's up somewhere in that classroom. So feel very proud across the district for our staff and all their efforts into helping to recruit, hire, and welcome in our new educators here in the Shelton School District. It will make a huge difference this next year and well into the years to come, because I think when you, again, can have educators here and we can welcome them and help them feel prepared for teaching, which is quite an endeavor and a profession, I think they will be ultimately a lot more successful in their careers, and that's exactly what we need for our students, and I think what our families and community ask for. It is scholarship season. I would just up front say congratulations to all those students out there who received a scholarship notice or have even applied or were asked to apply for a scholarship. And also to thank our community members. I know it is one thing I've talked to out there in our business community and other members who said, hey, I give to scholarships. Student scholarships are a big deal, what's going on for them. And I want to recognize, thank you so much for your contributions on behalf of the students, for helping to support them and their post-secondary experiences. College is expensive, folks. It's not cheap. I don't care where you go to school. It is a big deal. So scholarship season's here. Thank you so much for it, and good luck, students. We're happy to be housed here today. Mountain View is where we hold our board meetings. And there is an open principal position. Leadership does matter. We are currently undergoing our interview process. We have a team of staff who are part of that team to select someone to be principal here. Miss Mary Johnson is moving on to Olympic Middle School, and Chelsea, who's the principal there at OMS, is going to become the director of curriculum 712. So keeping things in-house. And I think growing your own when you can do that, that's great. It's nice. Chelsea grew up in this area, graduated from SHS, and moving up in her leadership, and she's gone all the way from a paraeducator to now leading curriculum at the secondary level. So that's quite a move for her, and I think a good example to our young kids that are out there. You can do anything, and I think I had a student the other week tell me he was going to take my job. So I'm ready for him to do that. So for sure, I told him he can do it. We have a brand new bus out front this evening. If some of you who came through walked by it, we received a new bus that is going to be put in use right away. Really excited about that. But we're looking for bus drivers to fill those buses. So if you are interested in becoming a bus driver, in particular a substitute bus driver, let's see, you have a varied schedule, and you even want to be trained in it, paid training, we have that available to you too. Simply just call the district line. We know we're ready for you. We'll help you, get you direction. It does take some time. I know I've had a couple community members reach out to me lately on a couple of our routes that we're having a hard time filling due to some staff being out on leave. It just makes it difficult to fill those routes. And what I would say is, even when we do get people trained up, it is still a long process. A little over a month would be about what, depending on when the test is and getting them ready for their route. So just letting people know, even when we do hire, we have to train them. They have to be ready, obviously ready for their route, understanding their route, and all the pieces to that. So back to my initial ask, if you're interested in being a bus driver, just simply give us a call. We'd love to help you out. Lastly, I would like to say thank you, teachers. It's Teacher Appreciation Week. I mentioned earlier, we are a people organization. We are foremost an educational organization who's here to educate our students, and we do rely on our teachers. They do tremendous things. The profession just seems to ask more and more each year. I think communities ask more of school districts each year to provide all the services that we do, anywhere from food to obviously education services, our activities, but also mental health and supports. And so all those pieces are really important, and without our teachers, it just would not happen. And so I want to give a special thank you so much for our teachers, and I know Mary Ann's and I have some more comments around that. Looking forward to continuing to celebrate their work and then ultimately the outcomes for our students. That's what we are here for, to get them the basic education needs they have, reading, writing, and math, and also to be college and career ready. So looking forward to do more celebrations with them as we work really hard on behalf of our students. So with that, I'll hand it back over to Vice President Wielander.
Thank you. Any comments?
None at this point.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to go now to community comment. As a part of the regular school board meeting, the board invites community members to make public comments in person and/or by phone as conditions allow. If speaking in person, please follow the public comment procedure by signing in, stating your name and address at the podium when you are called by the board chair. If making comments by phone, please dial 1-253-215-8782 and enter meeting ID number 854-3386-9913. Each person is allowed 3 minutes to speak. In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, the board will not be allowed to discuss items that are not on the agenda. The board will direct the superintendent to follow up on any items that arise during public comment as appropriate. The board will not allow complaints against an individual staff member or a student in open session unless that individual has requested an open public hearing. And with that, I would like to call up Andrew Wilford.
There we go. Like I said, I don't know anything more than what was allocated, and we can leave it at that. We certainly shouldn't tolerate our staff, adults, preying on our students, on our kids here. I really hope it's not true. You know, we'll see as the time will tell and the investigation goes on. I think we all are appalled by that kind of a thing when it happens. I hope we all are equally appalled by that. And I think some people like myself are appalled too by a policy that says staff and students are going to keep secrets from parents about a certain topic, and we all know what it is. There's no policy that should be allowed in this school district that allows staff to keep secrets from parents about their children. Parents should be involved in every decision-making possible with their child, should be involved in all things. And the fact that that was allowed is disturbing to me. That was put in policy, that we're going to keep secrets from our parents. And I urge you to reconsider that. And you can look to the school board from the center, recently changed their language to adopt something that recognizes parents as being the sole authority in the child's decision-making process in their lives. Now, something completely different. Many years ago when I worked for the school district as a custodian, there was a rule change about playgrounds at our elementary schools. And I can tell you as a kid that grew up downtown, I didn't have many places to play outside. And me and my friends at that young age level would meet at the Evergreen Playground and play during the summertime. And I think it was roughly 17 years ago that we changed the rule where now all of our playgrounds are locked up year-round, even through the summer. And I would urge you again to reconsider that policy. These kids need a place to go outside and play. These playgrounds are fantastic for that. Where else can these kids go in these neighborhoods that's an outside activity that's relatively safe in a fenced-in area? And it really was a community meeting center for a lot of families, too. I know people would have birthday parties at Loop Field, and the kids would play at the Evergreen playground back years ago. And that's been taken away from us. And I would love to see those playgrounds opened up again for the public to use. Thank you.
Thank you. Heather Kowalski.
Hi, my name is Heather Kowalski. I'm a parent of 5, and I'm a district employee. My comments are, again, a bit more for the community than the school board, but I think this is something that everybody cares about. We have a lot of parents who care about the discipline, and they're concerned about what is and isn't being done. I don't know that a lot of people understand that almost every board policy is state law that is made by our House, the legislature, and the school board adopts it, and then the schools follow these laws. So our district policy on discipline wasn't set by the district, it was set by the state, and many people are not happy with it because it takes away a lot of discipline. But, okay, the newer policies require more teacher action, notification, and parental involvement. It takes away the ability to remove the students who continually cause issues. In fact, the only required suspension is for a student with a gun. If you've ever worked in a school district or ever been involved in your student's school, you may have been surprised by the amount of services that are provided by the schools, mostly in the background. Mental health services, drug and alcohol resources, physical health services, including dental, eye exams, hearing tests. We have food bank, clothing bank, free breakfast and lunches for everyone, help for homeless students and resources for their families, help at Christmas, etc. One of the reasons the district does this is because when students come to school hungry, tired, cold, sick, scared, angry, it's going to be very hard for them to concentrate, to listen, to learn, and to obey. Our community is full of students who have a lot of negative things going on in their homes that affect how they behave. The in-school employees have a very difficult job of trying to help these kids to not distress them any further, building relationships, helping students feel like they have a safe place and hopefully a safe person who cares about their success in life. And this takes up a lot of their time. So a lot of people feel like they're not being educated as much, but having these children feel safe, I believe, is more important. This is some of the thinking behind the state's discipline policy, making the school a safe place for students, keeping them in school and in classes where they can be safer than if they're suspended and isolated. This has led to schools having to learn and experiment with new ways to reach kids and keep everyone as safe as possible. And it takes a lot of learning and a lot of trying. Like most jobs, especially in the last few years, this requires our district to do more with less. Most of the positions that work with these most disruptive students are paraeducators and security personnel. This is something that the state has not increased funding for. This is where the levy dollars come in. We have a lot of one-on-one paras for students, many behavior paras and special need paras. These positions are funded by the levy, but in reality should be funded by the state. So I just encourage everyone to talk to your state legislator about funding our schools better.
Thank you very much. There are no other names on the list. However, if anybody wanted to get their name on the list and wasn't able to, or are there any out in Zoom land? Okay. All right, with that will conclude community comments. Moving on to Section 5, reports and recognition. 5.01, we'll start with Miranda Myers from Cedar High School and their school report.
Hello. Recently we had our monthly assembly focusing on student engagement, while last week we celebrated our amazing principal during Principal Appreciation Week, while this week we are celebrating all of our favorite Tistos. They're all very good, and we are thankful for them. And we are currently completing state testing for the year, and we are continuing to collaborate with Bordeaux to restore the gardens. And we are still working on making accessible trail on the hill on our campus. Everyone is working on their project-based learning projects. A lot of these projects have classes working together, like our ASL class is partnering with our alt class, and web page design and word studies block is working with ELA. For those who don't know, block classes are two classes combined and are taught together. Our senior club completed their donut fundraiser. That went well. The seniors received a calendar of important events for the rest of the year thanks to our counselor, Susie, who is also currently gathering information about scholarships students have received and can sign up for, and doing counselor feedback. Seniors are getting ready for and planning graduation, and everyone's getting ready for the end of the year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions? And from Shelton High School, Richard Beckman.
Good evening. So this last weekend was an incredibly successful weekend for Shelton High School clubs. Our state powerlifting competition made $4,530, and I think that there were some of our athletes that placed, so that was exciting. The FFA annual plant sale raised $9,056, so that's also exciting. FCCLA at the musical this last week, and they made $189, and that was just selling cookies outside, but the play itself had nearly 1,000 viewers and raised $5,000 this weekend. So that's really exciting. A lot of great things that happened. Also, there were baseball regionals, there's a baseball tournament, and I think they made it to regionals. And our school's marching band, we took third place in at a parade at the I forgot the name of the parade, but this on the 15th, there will be a community forum event for anybody interested in learning more about the master schedule at Shelton High School, learning more about pathways and academies. If you would like to learn more about that, you should be able to check your email, and that should also be visible in the Skyward Family Access page. Also, another note to families is that the school calendar has been increased by 2 days, but that will not change the date of finals or any testing. We are currently finishing up AP testing and getting ready for the end of the year, as well as state testing. And to close, I would like to remind families that rising sophomores and current freshmen, if your student is struggling with credits or needs to regain credit, summer school is an option that is willing to look into, and freshmen who get more than 6 credits in their freshman year are significantly more likely to graduate. And so, yeah, that's all I have.
Does anybody have any comments, questions? All right, well, good to hear about the band. I mean, it's good to hear about all of it, but I was in the band, so go band. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so 5.02, recognition of student athletes by Mr. Scott Chamberlain.
Check. Okay. Just to help you, Richard, they were in Long Beach. Band was in Long Beach, I believe.
Thank you.
Yep. And baseball did play in a play-in game, and they are currently playing at Ridgefield right now in the first round of the district tournament. And we're down by 1 run in the 7th is the update I just got before I walked up here. So thanks for having me here tonight. My slideshow is going to look somewhat similar to what we had last year. I just updated some numbers. There is one disclaimer that I want to give you right off the bat. Last year, as we collected numbers for the beginning of our K-8 athletics and the number of participants, I think we counted kids multiple times if they played multiple sports. And so this year, I learned in Final Forms that there's a way to do it just to have a unique number of participants. And so there's a couple numbers that have changed compared to what we had up there last year. So if you're one of those that looks back and said, hey, you told me last year we had this many kids and that number looks different now, that's why. So I'm trying to get a consistent number so we can see the growth of that. What do I click, Aaron? Click at you? Look at that. So this year, our 3rd and 4th grade programs increased. So we added volleyball, soccer, and basketball to those 3 elementary schools. And then this is our 2nd year of track and field, which is currently going on. If you've been by the stadium in the last couple of weeks, we have 3 different track teams that are running around out there. It's really called organized chaos, I'm pretty sure. We have our high school team that gets started early, and then OBJH track team comes and makes their way over there with their 90 or so kids. That might be an over-exaggeration. And then OMS finds their way across Wallace Neyland and over to the track with their 70, 80 kids as well. And so quickly, that's a crazy place. But coming soon with our track and field, I believe it got moved, but it's that right before Memorial Day weekend, that Wednesday, I believe it might be the 25th, 26th, I'm making up a date, I'm sorry. We will have the 2nd annual Rotary Shelton K4 track meet over at High Climber Stadium. So, participation numbers. Now, these ones are actual participants, so kids are counted twice because we do not use Final Forms at the K4 level. But here's our participation numbers as we've added, driven by school. You can see that we have a lot of kids choosing to participate. Bordeaux is a great place for kids to participate. For some reason, they've got a real go-getter recruiting them out there. But once again, like I said earlier, we added volleyball, basketball, and soccer. You can see the numbers at Bordeaux that brought out to participate in those sports. Evergreen, same thing, and then at Mountain View as well. Mountain View has been, a challenge isn't the right word, but I'm not coming up with a better word right now, in the fact that the coach we have, it's hard to have 58 kids and have one person would be a tough thing to do. So trying to find some people that will help us out at Mountain View is one of our goals moving forward so that we can increase those numbers of kids. At OMS, we offer the 4 sport seasons like we did, or we have. We're in the Tri-County League, which is the league mostly around us. Last year, and this is a number that changed, in 21-22 we had 292 unique participants. This year we have 283. I wouldn't consider that a decline. I would just consider that that's with 2 grade levels at that building, that's pretty good numbers. And those numbers are really high for the sports that we're offering. And then at OBJH, we offer the 5 sports seasons, which makes it a very compact season of 6 weeks. We play in the Tri-County League, which is somewhat resemblance of the high school league as well, but then add in a few of the other harbor schools or the smaller schools in those areas so that we can get teams to play. Once again, this is a number that changed. Last year we had 274 unique participants, and then this year we have increased almost by 100 to 365 participants. I think the volleyball team was probably the one that I believe we had, I'm going to say 90 kids out there. We had high school kids over there helping just because there were so many kids. Matter of fact, we were chasing them around the high school mini dome as they were taking up practice space for the rainy days when our baseball and fast pitch teams wanted to be in the mini dome as well. So it's great to see that many kids out there. So those programs are strong at this time. Our K-8, our programs are strong. Our participants are wanting to come out and participate and give it a shot and figure out what it is that they want to do and what they're interested in. At the high school, still same information. We're 3 sports seasons, as is every high school in the state of Washington. We play in the 2A Evergreen League at least for 1 more year, next year. We'll find out what our next steps are, and we can discuss that at a later time. Once again, unique participants was a number that I didn't have last year. Last year we had 389. This year we've increased to 421 participants. So as we see those numbers go up, those are positive things. Very important, as we all know, extracurricular activities, no matter what they might be, athletics, clubs, those types of things are a way to hook our students and give them something that's meaningful and make school meaningful for them outside of the classroom. So some awards that we've gone through at the high school level. Last year I think I had, I didn't have this slide because I didn't do the fall. This year I did. Team Scholastic Awards are recognized by the WIAA. So a team, and we only do varsity teams at this time. Varsity teams that earn a 3.0 or 3.49 GPA amongst them, and it's a previous semester grade. So that's why fall is a little difficult to get to. As we start the fall in 22-23 Skyward, it doesn't let you talk to the 21-22 Skyward very well. I'm not sure why they can't fix that bug. But we had 14 teams, and you can see the list of teams that earned a 3.0 to a 3.49 as a team. And then Outstanding Team Award is a GPA of 3.50 to 4.0, and we had 9 teams that earned that as a team GPA as well. So the student-athlete portion of this is shows that those things are working. We do run weekly grade checks on Fridays, and our coaches do a great job of communicating that to our athletes. We have some athletes in here that I'm sure at some point, not to point anybody out, but probably had a conversation with the coach of, hey, why is this graded the way it is? Usually it's because it's the beginning of the trimester, or they were gone a day, it's stuck in their bag, or whatever it might be. It changes really quickly for some reason. It's kind of interesting. So anyways, a lot of success academically as teams. Last year I introduced this to you, that this is kind of the measure across the state of Washington. It's called the Scholastic Cup. The WIAA tracks this from your successes athletically and academically. The difference here this year, we're in 21st place right now. I don't remember what place we were in last year. But last year when I was here, we were done with the spring season. So some things were finalized here. But what you can see is at the top, the activities that placed as a team and earned points. So our boys cross-country team was 11th place finisher, which, Richard, you were a part of that, right? Our dance and drill team competed in the winter, I guess it's March, it's called spring, over in Yakima in the state competition and placed second in military, I almost said it wrong, in military. And then our girls swim team placed 9th as a team at the state swim meet in the fall. And then scholastically, you can see what they do is they award points to the top 10. So our winter cheer team placed 8th. Our dance and drill team placed 4th, and they probably didn't know that yet because I just ran this just a few days ago. I usually wait till the end of the year. Our boys swim and dive placed 8th, and then our girls wrestling team placed 3rd. And then they give you this part of sportsmanship that's 25. I think last year I was able to stand up here and say that 25 points was going to stay there because we didn't have any ejections from Shelton High School athletics and activities. Unfortunately, I can't say that this year. We did have an ejection. I don't know exactly how those points work, but believe me that it won't be that drastic, and it probably won't happen again. I shouldn't say that, but anyways, so that's our Scholastic Cup. I will give us an update at the end of the season when everything's closed and they finalize everything so we can see where we rank in the state 2A and then as well as in our league. State participants. So we had a lot of teams go to state. I didn't list them all here for reasons that are different. We had our cross-country boys and girls team participate in state in the fall. We had our girls swim team participate in state in the fall. In the winter, we had our boys and girls wrestling teams both compete at Matt Classic. And then we had our boys swim team compete at the state tournament as well, our state meet. And then spring is just coming up in the next couple weeks. But these individuals or kids or athletes that played in the fall, they play an alternate season, and then they don't qualify for state until the spring. And they just found out about a month and a half ago that they had actually qualified. So Holmes Waltermeyer in boys golf is a great example, who placed 20th at the district meet, I think it was, might have been 22nd. And he was right on the edge, not knowing if he was going to make it or not until those numbers came out, those allocations. So he's excited to get to travel to Spokane and compete in the WIAA state golf meet. And then our boys tennis team, doubles team of Wyatt Wagner and Jaden Lovingfoss will travel up to University of Washington and play in the state tennis tournament, both over Memorial Day weekend. Actually, golf is the Tuesday, Wednesday before, and then tennis is that weekend. We did have quite a few WIAA individual state placers. So in our girls swimming, Maddie Allred placed 5th in the 50 free. Our relay team, our 200 free relay team, and our 400 free relay team, which are the same kids, placed 7th in both of those races. In wrestling, we had 2 placers on the boys' side. Logan Peach at 132 pounds placed 7th, and Mario Boxley, who is here, but not for that reason, but we can recognize him right now. 170 pound, he placed 7th as well. And then in boys swimming in the 100 fly, Tawan Benedict placed 6th. And then we hope that this spring our track participants will bring home some hardware, and then hopefully those golf and tennis players that we mentioned will as well. WIAA state, team state placers. I'm going to start at the bottom of this list. So this, Richard mentioned this earlier. Our girls powerlifting were the state champions in Saturday's meet that was hosted at the Mini Dome. I did not try to bring them together from Saturday to today to get them here. And I believe, I'm not 100% accurate because the trophy doesn't say it, but I believe it's the 5th year in a row that they've been the state champions in the powerlifting. I know Coach Monroe walked past me and made some comment like that, so that's pretty impressive. If you didn't get a chance to go by there, it was a pretty impressive event. Walking in there and all the people that were there, we had all kinds of other things going on as well, but I think we only had 2 911 calls, which isn't bad. Think about what those kids are doing, and I know that we had a bunch of state records broken as well. But we do have our dance and drill team here. They placed 2nd at the military at the 2A state competition, and I have that team here, so I'm going to ask the dance team to come forward. This is the 2nd year that they placed 2nd place in military, and I'm going to hand this over to Captain Kennedy Ward.
Hello, my name is Kennedy Ward. I am the captain of this year's dance team. We did take 2nd this year in military. We actually ended up losing 2 by 0.1. So super duper close. This is second year, and then we also got fourth in our POM category. So here with me today, I have Gwenny Smith, Riley Lehman, Emily Garcia, Olivia Kep, Taylor Wheaton, Sophia Wildman, Delaney Lupo, and Taylor Cooling. We do have a few others missing that weren't able to make it tonight, but yeah, this is our team.
Give them a round of applause. Good job, ladies. Good job. Unfortunately for me, last year I was able to go over there and sneak out on the floor and hand them their second place trophy. This year that didn't work out for my schedule, so I had to get a call from the executive director of WIAA to say that he was, I don't think he did, but he was making fun that he was going to be the one handing the trophy to him. So anyways. And then I have one more individual I'd like to bring up here, and that's Mario Boxley. Come on up here, Mario. So as I mentioned earlier, Mario placed 7th in the 170-pound weight class at MAC Classic this winter. But Mario also was named the Washington State Wrestling Coaches Association Academic State Champion in the 2As at the 170-pound weight class. This is a process that the coaches nominate their athletes. There are some criteria. They have to have a junior or senior. They must have a winning record, and they must have a GPA that's probably above 3.2. I don't know that piece. Obviously, it didn't matter with Mario with a 3.9 GPA. And so he was recognized at the meet. Is that true? Did they recognize you there or not? Okay. He was recognized at his banquet then by Coach. And but anyways, very proud of Mario, and that's a great accomplishment. There was only 14 2A kids that were recognized for this, and Mario Boxley was one of them from Shelton High School. Congratulations. And if I'm lucky, I believe that was it for me. Any questions?
I have a question for you. Do we have all of our sports back since the pre-COVID days?
I don't know how to answer that. Yes, we do. I think we probably have more back. We've added, as you just looked up there, we've added our K4, but you're probably looking at 7, 12 and the ones that you were used to seeing kids play. We are back in full swing. Okay. I would say, the reason I say it's hard to answer that question, yes, we have the sports back. Do we have all of our kids back? That's not necessarily true, meaning, okay. You know, like in some sports, boys soccer is a good example. We've probably usually ran 3 teams, and we were only able to run 2 teams this year. So okay. We'll slowly build those back up and offer the same number of teams as well.
Just curious, when you have weightlifting, you have 911 calls quite frequently?
No, not frequently.
Okay. All right.
I think we had a couple dehydrated kids, but they were lifting a lot of weight, and it's a high level of competition. So we had one young lady who fainted and didn't feel well, so we called 911. And the other one was somewhat of an injury, but it wasn't serious. It was just precautionary.
Okay.
Way less at powerlifting than at a football game, possibly.
Yeah, good. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Carrie, did you have anything on Zoom there?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Great. I apologize for not being there in person. Scott, thank you so much for the presentation. And I wish I could see the athletes myself. When the screen came up, all I could see was the actual logos and things. I wasn't able to see the students speak, but congratulations to the dance and drill team. They did an amazing job, and congratulations to all of the athletes going to state and to the wrestler who is also done so well. And Scott, thank you very much for getting the athletics all the way down to the elementary schools. I know that that's been a goal to get those programs going. And I know that just for my own daughter who's at OBJH, she was one of those, you know, volleyball players that was packing the gyms. And it was incredible to see how many athletes were coming out. I have a high school daughter who was playing volleyball, and that was a very popular sport as well. And I know how much these opportunities mean for students. and they oftentimes help them with a lot of different lessons, whether that's teamwork. I know that many of the programs help out with grades and tutoring, and they encourage them to get good grades. So I think just overall, it's wonderful that we have such great athletic programs, and I look forward to continuing to make those stronger. But thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
So I know the WIAA looks at, I thought you were off the hook, didn't you? They look at the grades, absenteeism, discipline, and all that, and they see that the kids that are in the extracurricular activities, and speaking specifically to sports, do better than the non-participants. As we open this up and get younger and younger kids, are we going to start seeing, or are we already seeing improvements in grades, absenteeism, discipline, referrals, things like that in the athletes, in the younger kids?
Well, I would say the easy answer is yes, because that's the answer we want to hear. But I would say yes. We're not necessarily tracking that at this time, only because we don't have anything else to look at to compare to. I do know that our weekly grade checks have went down into our OBJH weekly grade checks as well. And so now we have conversations, kids having conversations with their coaches and their teachers about their grade, which will then drive that grade to improve. At OMS and below, I haven't seen grade check necessarily. We didn't necessarily do those things, but we do know that our coaches are working with those kids and talking about the importance of what they're doing academically in their classrooms. As far as attendance is concerned, we're still trying to squash the bug that I don't have to be in every class to play. I don't know where they read that, but that's how they interpret it. But we run an attendance report every day at the high school and at OBJH that goes to a coach automatically. And at least at the high school, it sends them just the list of kids that shouldn't be practicing or playing that day because they've missed a class for a bad reason. And then there's a conversation between the coach and the student athlete. And that list gets smaller and smaller quickly as the season goes along because they don't want to have that conversation, so they make sure they get to class. So the answer would be yes, I see those improvements.
Well, as somebody who was a coach, well, a while back, and I've seen the visible, I mean, you can feel the improvement. I would like to say, thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you've done with our sports program, and I realize there's a lot of hardworking kids out there. Coach Boxley specifically, one of the hardest working kids I ever had the opportunity to coach. Yeah, you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I don't think I would take any of the credit. Number one, our kids. Our kids are the ones that are going to perform and change culture, and then our coaches do an outstanding job of working with our individuals. And I look at it as my job is to make sure that that's what they get to do, and I do all the other stuff that they shouldn't be doing. So, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Oh. I just want to quickly thank you for all your work with the presentation and also all the coordination you do with all these students. You're like thousands of students across all these sports. I know my daughter's in the Bordeaux sports, and I know that the day she comes home and she has practice on those days, she doesn't talk about school, she talks about her sport. And I just really recognized how much social and emotional learning she gains from those sports, new friends, and she's told us she wants to participate in soccer this summer. Or she learned she's really good at high jump, which is not something I was ever going to provide for her. So I really appreciate it.
Good. There is also a summer athletic camp that's being offered for, I might say this wrong, I believe it's 4th through 9th, 5th through 9th maybe, at the high school and free of charge. So if you want to get them involved in something to become a better athlete, they can definitely attend that.
Cool. Anyone?
I'm going to run fast.
Okay. Thank you. Now we'll move on to 5.03, recognition of the district's teachers in honor of May 8th through the 12th, 2023 being Teacher Appreciation Week. Mary Ann Marshall.
All right. Good evening, Vice President Wielander, members of the board. I get the fun part tonight May is just a great year because it's a time where building principles and teachers are reflecting on their practice and the goals that they set. And so I know Wyeth and I are out in the buildings. We're talking with building principals. This past 2 weeks I've been meeting with principals and just having conversations about reflections of how did the year go. And surprisingly, not surprisingly, our teachers are really being successful with our students, and they're putting a lot of hard work and dedication. And so I just want to take a moment and show you a video of our teachers throughout the district, showing them doing their hard work, and just appreciate them each and every day. All right. Like I said, our teachers work hard. They come to work every single day. They put 110% into their jobs. And as you can tell in the videos, they're working with students. They're smiling. They're having a good time. And students are being successful. And so that's why we celebrate them, because it's not an easy job, and they need to be recognized. So when you think about how can I appreciate teachers this week, whether you're a fellow staff member, whether you're a parent, whether you're a community member, here's just some ideas that you could do throughout this week just to recognize them and show them that we appreciate them. And thank you. If you have any questions?
Does anybody? Did we lose Carrie again?
So I'd like to say thank you for recognizing teachers. It is a hard job, and I think it gets harder with time. So it was a great joy to spend 33 years teaching and have great students that show up here and there in life again. And it takes a lot of dedication. It's a hard job at times, and a lot of society's problems fall upon the classroom teacher. It's just always going to be that way because you have, well, you're in the trenches where you get everybody into the public schools. And that's also a joy because there is such great diversity. There's kids who can overcome things and have victory. So teaching, even though it's difficult and challenging at times, it is really a very rewarding career. And you get little things from children every day that make you feel like this is an important thing for me to do. So I celebrate with you, saying that teachers are a great asset to us.
Anyone else?
I would love to jump in. I just want to say thank you to all of the teachers. I know that they are out there working so hard. I've said this before, I am a graduate from the Shelton School District myself, and there are still some teachers there that I had as teachers, and they were wonderful. And I think every single one of us can think back on teachers that have been meaningful and special or changed some part of the direction you were going in your life. And I see that with my own two daughters. I see it with many of their friends. I am very thankful for those teachers out there that are inspiring our kids and that, that take the time. They're all taking so much time, but when they take the time to send a special note and of encouragement to your child or to a parent and let them know the good things that are going on, that has always been something that I've very much appreciated. And I know that teachers are doing that in a ton of different ways all throughout the school district, and just hope that they know that I appreciate them all very much.
I could say thank you all day long. I think everybody could. I guess when you talk to the teachers, from my perspective, I hope that they feel like we support them in the way that I know that we intend to. And if there was more that we could do, we would. And if they need us to do more, tell them to reach out, because I'm not above adding more support to teachers.
Thank you.
Okay, item 6 is the consent agenda. Have all the board members had a chance to look that over?
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I second the motion.
With a motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and it's passed. We have no discussion or action items today. We can go right on to board comments. Carrie, since we have you up on the big screen, why don't we start with you?
All right, I'll keep it short tonight. Again, I apologize for not being there in person. I'm clear across on the East Coast in New Jersey, so it's a lot later, and I'll probably miss the Kraken game tonight, so hopefully that goes well. I do just want to say one of the things that's always been very meaningful for me as a school board member is to be able to look through the Drake scholarships. And I just want to thank all of the students who took the time to fill out that application. It's very meaningful to read all of your personal statements and to see the amazing, incredible work that you have all done. And I wish we could choose every single person. Truly, we have incredible students in the Shelton School District, and when we get a chance to take a look at individual stories and we see the accomplishments, the challenges that have been overcome, the life circumstances, both good and bad, it's really incredible and very meaningful. So thank you for filling out those applications and allowing us to get to know each and every one of you. Outside of that, I don't have any other comments tonight. Just thank you to everyone who's presented, and I look forward to being back in person.
Okay, Lauren.
I'd like to thank everybody tonight for their public comment and the presentations. Also, I'd like to second the scholarships. Everything the students submitted was very moving, and it was difficult to narrow everybody down, and I'm looking forward to hearing from those students this week. Thank you.
Carla?
Yes, and that's what has been on my mind too, some of the success stories that we have looked at recently. And we just have a small handful of scholarship applicants for our Drake Scholarship. But I think it's good to remember and reflect that we have some great stories here in Shelton of success. And at board meetings, sometimes we look at the problems we need to overcome and the students who are struggling and what to do next for them. And not forgetting that, but just adding to it, we need to look at the great things that are going on. And somehow these students who come from all backgrounds have overcome circumstances to be successful, have pushed themselves to be involved in many, many activities and diverse activities and get good grades. Not everyone is a great high school student. Sometimes people need a little more time to mature. Like myself, I found my stride later, but these high school kids who have made great accomplishments are really something to celebrate. And back to the teacher appreciation, my first thought about teacher appreciation is that I too graduated from Shelton, and I'm really grateful for all the Shelton School District teachers who inspired me and made me feel like I was part of something great. And then my years teaching here, I thank all those teachers who guided me and helped me become a better teacher. And now being on the school board, I'm excited about new people coming into the district and hope they have a good experience too. And I'm so glad that we're recruiting and finding those really talented people to be here in this school district. So that is all I have to say tonight.
Okay, well, I'll finish it up with, hey, we're coming up on halfway through May. We're getting to the end of the year. If you smell the barn and think it's about done, don't let up. Keep running all the way across the finish line here. I've had too many friends kind of blow it right at the end. So make sure you keep going all the way through. If you're concerned about whether or not you can get a scholarship, go talk to your scholarship counselor at any of the high schools, and they're all wonderful folks with a ton of information. And really, that's it. Enjoy the weather that's coming up this next week. Stay safe. Keep your head on a swivel out there in traffic, and try not to hit anybody. Thanks. All right, we don't have any need for an exempt session tonight. So with that, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion for adjournment.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it. We're out of here. Thanks.